who's ready to talk about the Epstein files, huh? Who's ready for that shit? Because, did you know that the Department of Justice was supposed to redact a bunch of things in the Epstein files, and they did such a poor fucking job of it that there's just fucking nudity in there? You know, that thing they were supposed to be redacting away because it often included fucking victims? Yay! In its latest release of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein, the Department of Justice included several redacted nude photos of young women, some of whom may have been underage when the photos were taken. The Department of Justice just sitting there going, we did a very, very fine job sending you all child pornography. What is this administration's fucking incompetence? The government is required by law to redact sensitive information and images in the Epstein files before releasing them, especially regarding anything that could identify victims. When the New York Times reviewed the latest files, however, they found 40 nude photographs of at least 7 different people with their faces visible. The women in the photos could have been minors, as the Times could not confirm their identities or ages. Some appeared to have been taken at Epstein's private island, Little St. James, in the U.S. Virgin Islands, while others simply showed bedrooms and other private spaces. The publication initially notified the DOJ on Saturday of the images, flagging more of them on Sunday. That is wild. There are people right now, who, in combing through the files, could have just stumbled upon fucking CP. That's fucking crazy. That is crazy to me. And it's painful for me to fucking think about. Yeah, government-sanctioned child sexually explicit material. Yeah. The images flagged by the Times have since been removed or redacted. A DOJ spokesperson said the department was working around the clock to address the victim concerns. Additional redactions of personally identifiable information, as well as any files that require further redactions under the Act to include images of a sexual nature. Once proper redactions have been made, any responsive documents will repopulate online. Okay? The Trump admin remembered to redact a picture of Donald Trump that appeared in a text message conversation between Epstein and a former Trump advisor, Steve Bannon, but somehow it neglected a particularly sensitive set of photos that directly violated the law by mandating the release of the Epstein files, half of which still have yet to be made public. Will Shard says, I don't know, Kash Patel says there's no Warren bossing say. Yeah, Kash Patel, man, he looks like he's always in the fucking headlights. That dude, he's definitely on the up and up, 100%. You have no idea. You have no idea. He's doing his best. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. And there's some other takeaways too that I feel like you should know. One of them is that did you know that Jeffrey Epstein was banned off of Xbox Live? Wild to me. Wild that a child predator actually got banned off of Xbox Live. And I kept hearing that it was a breeding ground for that kind of shit, but maybe that's just the early age of the internet for me. So let's see some of the other takeaways that The Guardian has for this shit. An Epstein lawyer discussed the possibility of cooperation days before his death. See here, on July 29th, the FBI and prosecutors met with Epstein's attorneys, who, in very general terms, discussed the possibility of a resolution of the case and the possibility of the defendant's cooperation. Okay. Then we have the takeaway that the FBI actually received allegations about Trump. The FBI has known about Trump being a fucking child rapist for so goddamn long. I do not think we can trust anything outside of fucking raw statistics, and even then, we should scrutinize those from the FBI from this point forward. It is on record now that the FBI is an organization that will protect child predators. Wild. I feel like I'm in an Alex Jones era when I say shit like that, despite the fact that I know it's true. One document in the newly released trench is a summary that FBI officials appear to have compiled last summer of more than a dozen tips received by the agency involving Trump and Epstein. It's unclear why the investigators put together the summary and does not say when the tips, which include unsubstantiated claims as well, were received. The document also does not include any corroborating evidence or indication that the tips were verified. Trump has also repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. Well, yeah, most predators would. He's denied any wrongdoing in connection with Epstein. In response to a request for comment from the New York Times, the White House referred to a statement from the Justice Department that it made on Friday, which stated that the new tranche of documents may include fake or falsely submitted images, documents, or videos. Yeah, good cover, I guess. Some of the documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false, and if they have a shred of credibility, they certainly would have been weaponized against President Trump already. Unless, of course, the people who... Like, wait, hold on. Would they have been? Because if so many of this stuff was kept in, like, a fucking FBI dossier, well away from most people's hands, including aspiring politicians, then would they have even had access to this shit? Also, what this shows me is that, the recent Epstein file shit, right? That show that Epstein had his fingers in the pies of Israel, had his fingers in the pies of fucking Bill Gates, because there was a whole thing in there about Bill Gates trying to get some antibiotics from fucking Epstein because he didn't want to get his, he wanted to drug his wife in a way that his wife would not get infected with the STD that he contracted from a fucking Russian hooker that Epstein had given him. It is solidified to me that the reason that none of this shit got used on anybody for so fucking long is the fact that so many people are interconnected in this. It's a set of dominoes. Very few of these people, outside of the ones who have nothing else to live for, nothing else to accomplish, nothing else to do, most of those people would go down with the ship if the ship was about to sink. There's a reason why the Clintons are basically on their fucking deathbed in terms of age, and they're just like, yeah, release the files. Yeah, of course, because they've got a couple years left to go, and then they're fucking dead. Kattini says, I find it kind of weird / sweet that Gates wanted to get the hooker the meds too. Sex workers are people. Sex workers are people like anybody else. Glenn Quagmire. Not found in the Epstein files. But the sepia piss filter on this makes me think it was AI generated, so suddenly I have the ick. But I mean, Quagmire is a rapist, so. Cybershield says, burn the fucking ship to the ground? Yeah. Also, Elon Musk has been playing defense on Twitter so hard right now because there are so many fucking emails showing how desperate he was to be in the fucking Epstein group. You know the Meat Canyon video about Musk on Epstein Island? That's, kind of like The Onion at this point. It's just kind of like The Onion at this point. And if you don't know what I mean, here, I'm not going to play the Meat Canyon video. I'm just going to show you this. Kotaku says Jeffrey Epstein sent 5 Nights at Freddy's porn via 4chan links. And The Onion is just, we give up. We give up. We give up. We fucking give up. They're done. They're done. The Onion is finished. They have decided that no, reality has out-onioned the Onion. Reality has out-onioned the Onion. Howard Lutnick made plans to visit the island. So this one was interesting to me because I watched a video while I was at the gym today about Howard Lutnick giving his version of the Epstein conversation where he was like neighbors with Epstein and Epstein had a massage table in the middle of his place, and when he went there with his wife, Epstein was like, I get a massage every day. The right kind of massage. And his wife, gave him a subtle nod, and he said, okay, we've got to go, sorry. And he was so disgusted and so repulsed, and then a couple of years later, you can see that he's got emails asking when he's going to be able to go to the island and shit. It just fucking weird as shit to me. Weird as shit to me. Is this the interview? Is this the interview here? The Commerce Secretary of the World Economic Forum talking about how he would have read or would have fucking left, basically saying he spent 0 time with him. This is like Trump saying, "Oh, Ghislaine Maxwell, who's that?" Right after saying, "I wish her well," right after being fucking buddy with them. Also, apparently Epstein was invited to Buckingham Palace. Yeah, just fucking throw it all in the trash. Monarchy, throw it in the trash. Most of the fucking elected politicians, throw them in the trash. All of them, throw them right in the goddamn trash. Right in the fucking trash. Richard Branson, in an email on the 11th of September, Branson wrote to Epstein, it was really nice seeing you yesterday. Anytime you're in the area, would love to see you as long as you bring your harem. As long as you bring your harem. Do you want to vomit yet? Also, files show the head of the LA Olympics and Ghislaine Maxwell having emails together. The New York Giants co-owner, Steve Tisch, also was a frequent Epstein respondee. I've seen fucking news articles about that floating around now, where they're just like, we're reevaluating whether or not you could be part of any of this shit. Files shed new light on the relationship between Epstein and Peter Mandelson. Bank records show 3 separate payments of $25,000 from Epstein's JP Morgan bank accounts, referencing Mandelson, and separate documents appear to indicate that Epstein sent thousands of pounds to Mandelson's husband after Epstein's release from prison in 2009. And Brett Ratner, a filmmaker in Hollywood, also has images where he appears with Epstein and 2 women, and you can just assume that if you see Epstein in a photo with women with other people, the women probably underage or at least paid. Maybe, possibly. Fucking weird shit. Fucking weird shit. Is this the interview with Lutnick? Is this the one? Also, does anybody have the thing on Bill Gates? Because, like, I want to look at the Bill Gates shit real quick, but let's look at the Lutnick thing.
House? How often you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he like gets like weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Ooh.
Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry, we have to go. And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
Really?
So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of this shit. This shit right here. Mm-hmm. So for context, okay, for any of you who have read the Harry Potter novels or seen the movies, in Harry Potter, there's a thing called a Horcrux. The Horcrux is a phylactery for Voldemort. Voldemort becomes a lich. The Horcrux is a phylactery. This is Professor Slughorn, the then, leader of the Slytherin house, while Voldemort as a child is in...
Look sharp, Tom.
There.
Don't want to be caught out of bed after hours. Something on your mind, Tom?
Yes, sir. See, I couldn't think of anyone else to go to. The other professors, well, they're not like you. They might misunderstand.
Go on.
I was in the library the other night, in the restricted section, and I read something rather odd about a bit of rare magic. And I thought perhaps you could illuminate me. It's called, as I understand it.
Beg your pardon? I don't know anything about such things, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you. Now get out of here at once, and don't let me ever catch you mentioning it again!
Okay, so, what's going on in that scene? Well, Professor Slughorn is being asked about the phylacteries. How would one go about making a phylactery? And it turns out it's terrible dark magic. You have to sacrifice lives in order to create a phylactery. He creates a fucking fake memory of him yelling at Voldemort when he was a child, telling him to leave and never be in his presence ever again. But the reality is, he actually tells him everything he knows about them, and inadvertently, through giving him that knowledge, causes the death of several people, as Voldemort creates not 1 but 7 phylacteries. And it's one of the deepest shames of his life. So he modifies his memory so that even when somebody extracts the memory from his brain, the memory is not correct. It is not what actually happened. That's why bits are muffled and all that shit. This scene right here is Professor Slughorn giving you the fake fucking memory. And it's wild considering that J.K. Rowling was also an Epstein correspondent.
And so I look back at it as a gift.
Yes.
He gave me a gift.
Yes.
Of a voice. And so, yeah, that's my story. A 1 and absolutely done.
It said that term sounds like an innuendo. The Horcrux of the phylactery. Yeah, Lenari points out he doctored the memory. Yep. Ienzo says Voldemort wasn't the first to create a Horcrux. Sure, he's first to create 7 of them. The first was a Horcrux by some Greek guy in ancient Greece. Well, yeah, no, I'm not saying that he's the first one to make one at all. But also, yeah, fucking J.K. Rowling as well. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling has now found herself in more controversy after her name appeared in the Epstein files. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. The person who helped fund so much goddamn transphobia is linked to known fucking pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. They all know each other. All of the most powerful, influential, and rich people, they all fucking know each other. Every single one of them. And your favorite one, your favorite multimillionaire or billionaire is also bad. Sakura says, and the invite was in 2018 after Epstein was known to be a pedophile. Yenzo says, does everything link back to Jeffrey Epstein? I think it's less that everything links back to Jeffrey Epstein, and more that they are all linked with one another. All of them. Every single one of these shits that helped create Poll and create our current fucking culture war and all this shit, all of them are connected to one another. Every single one of them. It just so happens that Jeffrey Epstein was such a good blackmailer that he was the perfect fall guy. He was the perfect guy to be toppled down, because if he was gone, the monster was put to bed. But the reality is so many of these people are not only Epstein correspondents, but correspondents with one another, that if they were okay all being part of the same pedophile ring with Epstein, Epstein disappearing doesn't actually mean the pedophile ring stopped existing. It's so weird to live in a world where QAnon, the details were wrong, obviously, but the broad strokes of there being a massive pedophile ring from the most powerful people in the entire world, it's so weird that they were right. In the broadest of strokes, they were right. Also, yeah, the Pizzagate thing was also linked to Epstein. Let me see if I can find that shit. I saw something on that. I saw something in that. Apparently there's mention of pizza 1,000 times in the Epstein files. I'm not gonna hang my hat on that particular claim. It may be true, it may not be true. That one I have not found as much evidence in. There were also the originator of the trans being a fetish mindset. I did see that being talked about. QAnon, they're using coded messages. Reality, hey Jeffrey, can we get a harem of children? Fucking balls. Fucking balls. There's so much more. There's so much more to dig into. We're gonna need multiple videos in multiple days as things come out about this, because I'm not pouring through 3 million files of this shit, but I am gonna let people with the prerequisite autism do it, and I am 100% going to be aping off of that. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.